The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Monday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. It's Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. I feel like on days like today, I have to talk at like speed and a half.
Oh, at least 1.5. Maybe got to go 2x on the deal.
Man, there is a ton to get to, including, and not insignificantly, what you just heard in the National Sports Center. Something that you probably needed to be prepared for. Chiefs going to Kansas.
The Kansas Chiefs, they call them.
I don't know if they'll take it that far, but
they might as well.
I mean, we'll get our thoughts on it. We want your thoughts on it, obviously. A big day, obviously. And so we'll get everything that you are feeling right now about the Chiefs moving across the state line and how it affects your fanhood. Does it affect your fanhood at all as a Chiefs fan? Call or text us with your thoughts on it at 573-875-KTGR. Lots more to get to as well. Mizzou hired their offensive coordinator. It's official now. That also very official over the weekend. And with that and bragging rights tonight, and the Cardinals trading away Willson Contreras.
Oh, that happened too.
That happened also. Yeah, that also in there. College football playoff happened too. Bill Connelly is going to join us for that. I mean,
whatever.
What? Still pretty important. We're going to discuss it with Bill Connelly coming up, but there's a lot to sound off on, which is why you can do so in multiple ways. Call or text us, 573-875-KTGR. We're live on YouTube and on Facebook. Leave a comment there, and we'll see it. It'll pop up in our studio. You can also leave us a voice message with the KTGR app, and we might get a chance to play it a little bit later on. And also let us know what we should name it, because we still think the default name was boring. Record audio? No, we don't want that. Give us a different name for what we should call our voice message feature here on The Big Show. As you're telling us about the Chiefs, Mizzou, and so much more, you can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show.
Now, The Big Show's Big Deal.
And you heard most of the story in the National Sports Center. Chiefs announced today that they have entered into agreement with the state of Kansas to play their games there beginning in 2031. This comes after Kansas lawmakers approved a proposal today to pay for a new domed stadium. It'll be built in the Wyandotte County area. Chiefs will also build a new headquarters and training facility in Olathe. Starbond's proposal is set to cover up to 70% of the cost of the new stadium. This obviously was something that we saw as a possibility after Jackson County taxpayers voted down the extension of a 3/8 sales tax in the county after the Chiefs' renovation plan. The Royals' new stadium plan was also involved in that, but that got voted down in April of last year. For the last year and a half, we've thought, well, where are they going to be? Now we know on the Chiefs side, at least. That's the Big Show's big deal on this 22nd day of December 2025. You can call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. Right as I saw Soren Petro's tweet last Thursday, I believe, it's like, okay, it's done. Like that, it's happening. Like the Chiefs were supposed to be in a meeting in Topeka. Royals weren't going to be there. And if they're going to a meeting in Topeka, then they're not going for nothing. Like, that's to announce something.
Yep.
And everything slowly today developing of like there are Chiefs flags out in front of the building, the state capitol in Kansas, and putting up a huge banner before even the official announcement that came technically just an hour ago. All day long, you've seen the signs of, yeah, this is happening. And look, this is what apparently the Hunts wanted to do the whole time. As far as I'm concerned, sure, they could have told you in April of 2024, yeah, we want to preserve Arrowhead for a long, long time. Well, if you wanted to do that, then you wouldn't have spent a collective 30 minutes on the plan of how you're going to renovate it. Now, that's what happened.
That's
like,
fair.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like it's
No,
like
I think you're spot on.
they were 5 weeks out from the vote, and whoever was in charge of it was like, "Oh shoot, I need to put something together." All right, let's see. Roll up my little render machine. Okay, put some sweets in. All right, spruce up the parking lot. Well, I got to take Kaufman out because that's not going to be there. Let's put more shrubs and there.
And some of these.
Oh, that's bunch of fans filing into the building. All right, hit send. Thanks, guys. Be sure to vote April 5th. Like, come on.
No, I think they tanked it. I think they tanked that proposal. It seems so clear now. Like at the time, we kind of criticized and said, guys, if you thought you were going to get the money for this, if this was going to get pushed through based on what y'all proposed, it just didn't seem like it was very worthwhile. And so the taxpayers voted it down. But take it a step further.
Yeah.
They were hoping for their own new stadium. And now I don't know that they preferred Kansas versus Missouri. I just think they didn't want a renovated stadium. They wanted their own new stadium, host events. Like you get the roof on that sucker, and it opens up a world of possibilities. Unfortunately, now none of those possibilities, as they come to fruition, will come to fruition for the state of Missouri. It's going to Kansas, which I know how Mizzou fans who are fans of Kansas, or excuse me, who are fans of the Kansas City Chiefs probably feel conflicted, probably at best, distraught, maybe at worst. Like I am curious. If you're a Mizzou fan, you listen to this show, you probably are.
Yeah.
You're a Chiefs fan. What are you feeling today? That's really who I want to hear from. Like, that's a tricky one, Andy. Like
it is.
And look, for me, I enjoy the Chiefs. I even feel a little bit sad, but I am truly stuffing. It's like I'm putting the sock in my mouth almost on my heartstrings and feeling emotion about this because I lost the team before. I'm not claiming the Chiefs. I've never really claimed the Chiefs. I enjoy them. We talk about them. I root for them to succeed. But this doesn't affect me personally. I come from the St. Louis side of the state, was a Rams fan. I know what that's like to lose a team. Y'all aren't really losing your team, but there is that border war rivalry when we think about the college teams that makes this a little bit weird. Like, I don't know how those fans are feeling today, and I am very curious about that.
If this were between any two other states in the union,
I think it would be fine.
It would be fine. Like they're technically like if it was a stadium in Texarkana, which is technically in Texas and Arkansas, like who cares?
Here's an example. They're talking about the Bears, maybe no Arlington Heights. Maybe they move to Indiana, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that bothers anybody. I don't think that, not like this is. Not like this is going to.
There's a pride thing attached to it, and the Missouri people will be happy. Will be upset. The Kansas people will be happy. And since we're on the Missouri side, I guess we got to be upset. But like it still is something that I think if you're a Chiefs fan, they're not moving away like the Rams did.
It's not the same thing.
It's not. We should be clear about that. I'm not saying you shouldn't be hurt by it. I'm not saying that's that pride should mean nothing to you, because it should.
A lot of these people hate Kansas.
Like,
a lot of them hate Kansas. This was a point of pride.
I don't blame them. Like that's the aspect of this that has tugged and pulled this conversation for the last year and a half and beyond about where the Chiefs should be and heck where the Royals should be, which is a lot more unclear now.
Oh man.
But it's it's
Missouri better get its stuff together on the Royals.
Well, I mean,
you don't want to lose them both.
A lot of places seem to not want the Royals. There's a lot of uncertainty around that sort of thing. There are even spots in Kansas that have denied them and said, I don't know. So with all of that happening, I don't see a situation that I can equate this to, really. I can't. You want them to stay in Missouri because you want to say that the NFL team in the state is on your side, and you don't want those Kansas people to have the earlier drive. Now, you're probably still going to make the drive anyway. Like that's kind of where I come from.
Will there be Chiefs fans that drop Chiefs fandom because of this? I am actually curious. I've seen people say it on social media. That's different. That's usually just trolling, not real.
I won't say that there are zero that just end their fandom because of this, but I think there are more people that are saying that they will no longer be a Chiefs fan. And that actually won't come to fruition. They'll still watch the games.
They might not have actually been Chiefs fans. I'm going to let you in on a secret. There are Mizzou fans, God love them, that like to troll on Twitter. And I think the ones that are saying what they're saying, I don't know if they were actually Chiefs fans. They might just be opportunists in this moment, which I think is funny, by the way. I love a good troll. But no, if it applies to you, you're such a big Missouri fan, and you're a big Chiefs fan and have been, but you're going to drop them because of this. That's who needs to call in 573-875-5847 or record your audio with a voicemail on the KTGR app, because I'm not going to be judging that person. I want to hear from that person if they exist. If that's it, because like you said, Andy, it's unusual. It's not like the Rams moving from St. Louis to Los Angeles. That's a clean break. That's actually relocating. Like, I know they're still going to be called the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, nothing's really changing about that, except for which state border and which side they're on. I think that is very, very fascinating. And unfortunately for Missouri side Chiefs fans, not in a good way. This is a bummer.
And that's the emotional part of it. Like, you are getting the emotional toll from this type of move. The realistic, like, actual detriment, I think, to most Chiefs fans is not all that great. It's mostly about which state government's getting the revenue or the tax break or whatever it is. And or which group of tax, you could spin it to say, well, now Missouri taxpayers don't have to be on the hook for this anymore.
Yeah, I don't know
for a new stadium. Now it's Kansas side. Make them pay for it.
Was that going to affect the whole state? I honestly don't really know.
It was going to be existing sales. It was existing sales tax revenue that would have been spent around the area, essentially, that would then be siphoned off to pay for those costs. And that's what the setup is going to be in Kansas. There will be whatever money is spent in the existing district around whatever because they're going to build a bunch of businesses around it. And then the sales tax revenue from that business will then go into the construction costs. And I don't know how long it's going to take to pay off, but I mean, that's still money that's from sales tax revenue that you could still be spending elsewhere as a state government. You are still having to cover a good amount of these costs of money that could have been used elsewhere. So like from that aspect of it, you are making the Kansas folks sort of pay for it a little bit more than the Missouri folks would. So I think for me, it's not going to change all much of the situation if you are still wanting to be a Chiefs fan and you want to go and see that new stadium. But here's the thing. For fans who love Arrowhead, and I don't blame them, like it's Hunt family obviously built that place, Lamar Hunt, his legacy, and if you wanted to keep that going, it's one of the more iconic stadiums in the NFL. And so that going away, I think is going to be very hard to wrestle with.
Yep.
So
yeah, it is. It's emotional. I don't think, and again, I'm coming at this from a perspective of someone whose favorite team actually relocated and left. So I don't have a team anymore.
Yeah.
But I also can't pretend to relate to having to reckon with losing a stadium that you and your family probably have a lot of memories in. It's very meaningful to you. It's very personal. I understand that aspect of it. It's very personal to me to have lost a team. This is more about the stadium. And then you can lump, I think that's probably number one, is the Arrowhead factor, Andy. And that might have been unavoidable if they were going to just be dead set on getting a new stadium.
Yeah, they want to
Kansas,
be indoors.
Missouri.
They want to host the Super Bowl. They want a Final Four. They want all that.
Yep. You couldn't have put a lid on Arrowhead. So, like, that was going to be the case regardless. But can you separate that disappointment with it's actually more for me about a Kansas, Missouri thing? I don't know how those folks feel. I just know it is uncomfortable. And like you said, Andy, very, very unique. Because I don't think there are other states where you could do this. There's even a rivalry, if you will, Andy, of people kind of talking about I'm a New Yorker and I crap on New Jersey. Like, that's funny. Yeah. Both New York teams are in New Jersey. It's happened. It is what it is. And like, that's not even something that is more than a footnote when you think about the Jets and the Giants. Maybe that ends up being what this is, Andy, but I think for some it will be more personal than that, and they will be impacted from that emotional kind of standpoint.
John is here on the KTGR hotline, wants to talk about the stadium. John, what you got?
Yeah, I just want to say that the popularity of this new stadium will depend on what personal seat licenses cost,
Yep.
because there will be personal seat licenses. And if you look at what's happening in Buffalo right now, they're building a new stadium. Personal seat licenses are going to cost an arm and a leg. They're going to raise their season ticket price. And a lot of the loyal fans, the longtime loyal fans, are saying, forget it. I'll stay at home and watch it on TV where I've got a bathroom close. I don't have to wait in line for food and pay a whole lot for food. I think that sports organizations are going to realize that the taxpayers and the fans have had it.
I appreciate the call, John, here on The Big Show. I think he shares a similar sentiment to Michael on our Facebook page with this comment. I do fear the Chiefs' new atmosphere could be a wine and cheese crowd.
That's a thing people are talking about.
It is.
Will people be priced out of it? That's the concern.
There will be people priced out, no doubt about it. I still think there will be rabid fans there. Like there will be enough Kansas City fans that just kind of don't care. Like they want to watch the Chiefs. They want to go and see the Chiefs play. They want to see the new stadium, and whatever cost it means is going to be enough for them. I still think there will be good atmospheres as far as what the Chiefs try to do. But like, you do lose an aspect of the environment, though. You lose the cold weather factor. I mean, Chiefs
identity. That's part of the identity of what a Chiefs fan is.
The
I really
Dolphins
feel that
had
way.
no chance in that playoff game a couple years ago when it was -7 or whatever it was. Like that.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And now you don't get that. You're indoors. I get that part of it. The PSL situation is going to price some folks out, no doubt about it. I'm sure there are some season ticket holders that aren't happy about that aspect. They're fine driving an extra 30 minutes, whatever, but that the fancy new building means that you're paying for a lot of extra things as well. And like, it's mostly to line the owner's pockets. It's not the situation where, Mizzou football raises your season ticket prices, but they can say, well, we need to make sure that we're competitive in the SEC and pay the players and everything like that. And we're building an addition as well that's going to attract those types of things. Like, they don't get to keep that kind of money. Eli Drinkwitz kind of alluded to that last week. They don't get to keep their rev share money. They got to distribute it out to all the players. Chiefs, though, they can decide to not pay Travis Kelce as much money, and they get to keep the rest of it. Like that's the difference here, is that it is all about billionaires getting more and more rich and eventually getting a chance to host their big time events later on and get more rich from that. It's what this has all been about. And yeah, there are some fans that are going to be essentially priced out of the building, priced out of their season tickets because of this move.
It's something. 2031. That's the date that they're targeting to open this stadium.
So you've got 5 more seasons left to go to games at Arrowhead.
Which I've still never been to a Chiefs game at Arrowhead. I've been to a Mizzou versus name the opponent. You remember?
Oh, I was there. I remember it. Yeah, BYU.
BYU.
Yeah.
Was the opponent. I bet that was the one time I attended a game there. Been to a few games at the K. What's your percentage that Patrick Mahomes starts a game for the Chiefs in this stadium?
Oh, man.
If I had asked you a month ago, you would have said like 95 or 100. But I'm just curious. What do you think?
I think it's still pretty close to that point. Maybe not all the way to 90, but I think it's still a very strong possibility. He is signed, I think, through that season at least. So if he's fulfilling the rest of his contract and the Chiefs, like, down the line aren't trading him, then yeah, he'll be starting.
It's more about, to me, you projecting his longevity as a player at a high level.
No, I understand that part.
He didn't play well this year, but it wasn't really his fault that they are as bad as they are. But I'm just curious about, like, does a season where it was like, he kind of looked pretty human this year in a lot of those games, does it make you think about the fall off, or is it like, no, this season was what it was, but I'm still projecting Patrick Mahomes' career arc as, being maybe not Tom Brady, because his longevity was unfathomable. That's the one thing that I probably, in thinking about that, the GOAT conversation, don't give him enough credit for. But with Mahomes, like, I am curious to see kind of what that looks like. And I would say yes, more likely than not, he'll be playing in this stadium. I might be closer to like 80%.
He is signed through 2031. There is a potential out in 2028. But I would think that they'll restructure.
Like I said, I don't think it contractually. I don't think it really matters. I think it's like, is he playing well enough to stay? And if he's playing that well, I don't think he'll ever wear another uniform. But if he isn't playing well enough anymore, then maybe that would change things. I don't know.
James says if the Rams would have built a new stadium on the Illinois side of STL, I would have still been a Rams fan. But to me, this is different with the Missouri-Kansas thing.
It's a good point.
I mean,
but that's a Rams fan saying that. That's not like we're hearing from the people that say, "Oh, if I were in this situation, here's what I would have thought."
If I were a Chiefs fan, how do you feel?
I wonder how the real Kansas City side Mizzou fans that love the Chiefs as well feel about this. I've seen some anger. I mean, look at the post that's talking about Shane Bichelle being called up by the Chiefs or signed to the squad because of Gardner Minshew tearing his ACL. That Christmas game.
Apparently he didn't. He avoided that. But he's not going to play.
He's not going to play
this week.
That Christmas game is going to be heinous. I mean, in affront to the sport.
Chris Odokin, baby.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. The whole Christmas Day slate is kind of ruined.
It is.
The Vikings quarterback is injured. It's a whole thing. But yeah, I'm just curious about it because I agree. Like, I remember before Busch Stadium was built, the current one, there was the scuttlebutt almost as like a negotiating tactic of, we might move it across the river. We might go to the Illinois side.
Yeah, that would have been fine, right?
A lot of people didn't think so in St. Louis at the time, and ultimately I don't think it was ever going to happen. But it was like, kind of let's leak it out there and let's see. I was a kid, so I might be getting some of the details wrong. But I remember there being angst about it in St. Louis of like, the Cardinals could never leave. Why would they do it? And they worked it out. They got the new Busch Stadium built right next to the old one. They had to tear down part of the old one to start building the new one. This is different because this is actually happening. It's the same thing, but and we're talking about this on the day of bragging rights, which is like, that's St. Louis's border war, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't like Illinois fans, but you know what? Like, if it would have meant having the Rams here, 100%, I would have. Now we're comparing the team actually being gone to
that's
move
the
them
thing.
across the river. This is different.
This is why I think you might be mad today. If you're a Missouri side Chiefs fan and you're like, man, I don't want Kansas to call it their team.
It's gross.
It's gross. But eventually I think you'll see that if the new stadium is built and you like it enough and you want to take a chance on it, the 30-minute extra drive is not going to be much to you. Now, the other part of it, the emotional part, is going to be hard to get over.
That's the one that,
but they did not move to Portland. They didn't. They're still here in Kansas City. So, that's the difference here. I do want to quickly get Scott in on the KTGR hotline. Scott, what you got, my friend?
Hey, how are you? Hey, I was listening to you, and I grew up in Kansas City. Actually, the Chiefs had their summer training camp at William Jewell when I was a kid back in the 60s and 70s. Been a Chiefs fan 60 years. I spent the last 15 minutes yanking all my Chiefs stuff out of the closet and throwing it in a box.
Wow.
So you're done. You're done, now. Scott, right?
I am, I've been a Chiefs fan forever, but you cross that line, you might as well move to Denver.
At no other two states
awesome.
would this be the thing. Appreciate the call, Scott, here on the Big Show.
That's who I wanted to hear from.
Right.
I really wanted to know what people were thinking that were in that situation. And there may be more like Scott. Who knows?
875-KTGR if you want to tell us your thoughts on the Chiefs stadium situation. We will get more calls and texts in. We'll talk more about it later on in the show. But we want to get to Bill Connelly of ESPN to talk some college football playoff and Mizzou finding its new man at OC. That's all next. You're on the Big Show, KTGR.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, this is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants and Allmake Repair Lab at 315 Ellis Boulevard in Jefferson City. From carols sung by a choir to the tearing of wrapping paper and jingling of bells, the holiday season is a time full of delightful sounds you shouldn't have to miss. If you think your quality of hearing may be turning you grinchy, come in for a free hearing evaluation so you don't miss a single jingle. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. Find us online at hearingaidconsultants.com.
Large or small, we wash it all. Magic car and pet wash.
Have a safe and wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. Your friend, at Magic Car and Pet Wash.
Hi, I'm Levi. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Magic Car and Pet Wash in Kingdom City and Ashland. Large or small, we wash it all.
Large or small, we wash it all. Magic Car and Pet Wash.
Losing a loved one is probably the hardest punch you will ever take in the fight of life. Dealing with the fallout, finances, and how to replace that loss of income for your family is even harder. That's why Phyllis Nichols and her team are so passionate about life insurance. Phyllis Nichols is the 12-round agent who fights for your best interests and knows exactly what you need. Get your life insurance with State Farm agency licensed Phyllis Nichols, the 12-round agent.
Well, the holidays are going to be here before you know it, and so will the family visits, the gatherings, and all the stress that comes with them. If your to-do list around the house still hasn't been touched, call Bax Homeworks. Their handyman service can take care of those little fixes, updates, and projects you've been putting off. Don't worry, you're not the only one. But that way, you can focus on what really matters. Relieve the stress now. Visit BaxHomeworks.com or find them on Facebook. Bax Homeworks. Getting your to-do list done.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
Wishing you a season filled with the air is merrier when you get spirits rise, in fact they're soaring. Here to keep your fire roaring.
Happy holidays from Shangri-La Dispensaries. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
We're moving faster and faster these days with limited time to make an impact on potential customers. Hi, this is Jimmy at Pro Designs. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked with companies to build strong brands. At Pro Designs, our team can create a vehicle wrap to drive market share, growth, and profits. Connect with your customers on the go, on the road, and on the job site.
Visit us on the web at PRODEZIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-75-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
We know that you have Chiefs Stadium thoughts. You can keep giving them to us, 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. We can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel, on Facebook as well. You can leave us a voice message, too, with the KTGR app. We'll get to those as well. But we want to talk some college football because the playoff did get started this past weekend. Couple of compelling games, and then 2 that, well, you know the outcome kind of by halftime. And, of course, Mizzou's got a new offensive coordinator as well. And here to talk all things college football is Bill Connelly of ESPN. He joins us now on the KTGR hotline to discuss all things college football. And, well, let's start with the Mizzou side, obviously, because that's where we are, Bill. But Chip Lindsey now, the new offensive coordinator. That's official. The Tigers going to bring him from Michigan and try to work with, I guess, whoever the quarterback is, now that we know that news too, that it's either Matt Zowers or a transfer. I guess your thoughts on Lindsey in particular, how he looked at Michigan and how you square that with maybe what he's done in past jobs with quarterbacks like Drake May, Jarek Stidham, and the others.
Well, there are 2 kinds of offensive coordinators, especially guys with who have compiled a decent amount of experience. They're the guys who have their system. And there are.
Well, it looks like we are not hearing Bill at the moment. If we can check all of the spots where we can. Bill might be good. We just need to make sure on our end that we've got it. If not, we can call Bill and see if we can get him back on. But at the moment, we'll at least see what all is happening there. But yeah, I mean, we'll first get Brendan in, and then we'll make sure we get Bill here in just a second. I think Bill can hear us, but we'll just make sure that we can hear him too. Sorry about that, Bill. But yeah, Chip Lindsey, first thoughts on him, I guess, Brendan.
Yeah, Chip Lindsey, I am curious about the aspect of when you look at Michigan and you look at what they were before he got there, which was kind of like a Mizzou offense. It was very run heavy and not necessarily something that falls into line with what Eli Drinkwitz talked about. His press conference where he mentioned, I want to go emphasize the passing game. I want to get that as the aspect that we fix. I thought was great because that was clearly something that was going by the wayside this year. And so I at first thought, man, what does this guy do? Well, they had Bryce Underwood and they threw the ball around a little bit more. And hopefully stuff like the Drake May stuff, previous stuff that Chip Lindsey was doing will allow that to come into Missouri's passing game if you find the right quarterback. But Bill, do we have you now to be able to weigh in on this thought?
Check.
There it is.
All right,
I knew we could do it.
Had a great answer, just all queued up, and then let's try it again.
We know we can replicate it.
Well, so I mean, the general thought here: there are two kinds of offensive coordinators who have, guys who have experienced a lot of just have a lot of experience over time. They're the system guys who just bring their plan of attack to the team, and then there are the guys who look at what they have and craft an attack around it. And Lindsey is not going to be we always love the system guys. We love the guys who are going to come in and change everything and take everything to a new level. And Lindsey is absolutely not that. He is a professional offensive coordinator. If you've got good run personnel, he'll figure out how to run the ball well. If you've got good passing personnel, he'll figure out how to pass the ball well. But it's more of a like making the sum of the parts add up kind of thing. He's not going to make the whole greater than the sum, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess it's mostly based on it because folks are trying to pinpoint, okay, how did the quarterbacks do behind him? Because obviously Mizzou's needing to get better play from what they've had the last few seasons or so. So, like, is it more of, look, Drake May was a great talent, and that's why Chip Lindsey did really well with him, or like Jared Stidham was also really good, or do you look at some of the other situations that he's been in and think, well, just that was the quarterback, and he was basically adhering to whatever they were?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you look through his history just using like my offensive SP Plus rankings. There'll be a perk up to like 20th and then down to 48th, then up to 7th at a different school, and then down to 32nd. And you can pretty much, okay, that's when he had that guy. Okay, that's when he had that guy. So yeah, you give him the right pieces, he'll you give him the right ingredients, he'll cook a good meal, but he needs those ingredients. And, we'll see. Zollers, it's going to be interesting with this bowl game with Zollers being the man, apparently, for now. A good or bad game against Virginia could dictate a lot of Missouri's like transfer strategy in January based on how confident you are that he might be the guy. But regardless, Lindsey's the guy you bring in when you think you've just about got all the pieces you need, and you just need somebody to cook it well. And we'll find out if Drinkwitz is right in that assessment.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR. And we'll find out a little bit more about what Zollers can do in that game. I wonder, though, with Mizzou now that having another spot to fill at quarterback, it would seem, with Bill Prabula entering the portal, whether you think they need to splurge or if they can just find someone that's may or may not be guaranteed the starting job, competes with Zollers, and may the best man win.
Yeah, no, I think that really is, obviously you want that impression to be made by more than just one game, but Zollers, if he goes off in the bowl game, then I think you're looking for a Drew Pine. Obviously you're going to need somebody, but you might bring in a less experienced veteran who can start for a couple games if he needs to. But if Zollers face plants, you got to either take a big leap of faith or you are going to spend a lot of money on a quarterback in the portal, and that might take money away from other positions. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, you don't want the entire transfer strategy based on 60 minutes in a postseason game, but I do figure Zollers can put his finger on the scale here and increase his odds of starting next year if he plays well.
Bill, curious for what you thought of the first look that we had at the CFP this past weekend. Obviously, the G5 games, all due respect to James Madison, weren't particularly compelling, but you got some good games otherwise. And certainly I think Texas A&M Miami was one that, I don't know, we knew they had good defenses, but it ended up being kind of a slog. Your thoughts on the way that one played out in particular?
Yeah, it was easy to assess that maybe defenses will have more of the advantage, but the wind seemed to give them an enormous advantage. Anytime you have more missed field goals than points in the first 3 quarters of a game, you went to some weird places. But in the end, the most interesting part of this matchup heading in was just the fact that A&M is super aggressive defensively and willing to give up some big plays here and there, and Miami doesn't ever make any big plays. Well, they made a couple. A&M was gracious in that regard. Obviously made a ton of stops, but Miami getting the big run play at the very end and then obviously picking off the pass made the difference. It was one of those games where when I do my top 100 games of the season at the end of the year, I kind of wanted in the top 5 and not ranked at all. But in terms of just pure drama, like it'll be pretty high on the list because it was an intense affair, if nothing else.
That for sure. Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR. And with the way that Oklahoma started the game, but then just at home can't find the finishing touches on a matchup with Alabama. And of course, it seemed like it was a trend that Alabama had sort of shown over the last month or so with how they had played in some of these games. But did it say more about Alabama picking itself up in that environment, being able to get it done, or Oklahoma just absolutely missing an opportunity at home?
Yeah, it just felt like OU's offense just had 20 minutes in it. Like they weren't going to be able to. They on paper they had the worst offense in the playoff to begin with, and they came out and did everything they could. All the good that they had, they showed it right at the start. They got some points on the board, but that pick 6 at the end of the first half, the miscommunication or telegraph or whatever it was, it was an egregious moment for John Mateer, and they just never. Obviously, they had like one good drive in the second half, but they just never got it back at that point. It was pretty clear where the winds were blowing, and Alabama's defense is really good, and it's been good all year, and that's going to give them at least a chance against Indiana here, where if they can, if Ohio State can hold Indiana to 13, you can hold them to 23, and then you only need a couple breaks to really make it a game and all that. But nothing about the Alabama offense other than a couple great catches from receivers filled me with confidence that they could hit 23 against a really good Indiana defense.
Bill, now coming up with the next round, is there one matchup that stands above the others, excites you the most in terms of the way this bracket kind of lays out? I feel like, obviously, other than Georgia Ole Miss, which we've seen before and was a great game the first time, you've got some really compelling matchups that are going to be interesting to see unfold.
Yeah, that was, heading into the first round, I was hoping for a big upset, and because I hate the G5 talk, we're undergoing over the last 48 hours. But the consolation was, okay, well, if we get a couple blowouts there, if we don't get anything major, we're still going to get 4 really, really interesting quarterfinal games. And we did. So, when the draw was made, my eyes first immediately went to Oregon, Texas Tech in the quarterfinals, because Texas Tech is so good. And it's so weird that, Indiana and Tech have built the quality of rosters that they have with only so many blue chip, prospects and whatnot. But Tech's defense is absolutely dynamite. Oregon's offense, obviously they were able to basically say, we're faster than you on the perimeter, and we're just going to, take advantage of that every single play against James Madison. But they're not faster than Texas Tech, or at least not to any close degree like that. And that Texas Tech pass rush is really nasty. So lots of really, really high caliber athletes on the field in this game, and they're going to be attacking. And I think it's going to be a game of uppercuts, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR. With Alabama and Indiana, Indiana's obviously proven that they should be deserving of the top spots. Is it just another indication of, like, every time you go up against the blue blood, you got to keep proving yourself? Or are we just at the point where we should assume that Indiana on the field, if both teams play their A game, Indiana wins because they're that much better than Alabama?
There are some assumptions being involved when you look at the lines that come out. Like if you look at power rankings, they're going to have Indiana. I think SP Plus has Indiana by 13. Everything's going to be in that kind of 11 to 14 neighborhood. And then the line's 7, 8. Yeah. And I think that's the difference it's still really hard to get past Indiana being favored by 2 touchdowns against Alabama, but based purely on what they've done on the field this year, there's absolutely no question Indiana should be a double-digit favorite in this game. They, we can talk about blue chip talent and whatnot, but Indiana beat Oregon by 10 in Eugene. Indiana beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. They're just dynamite. And, it'll be really disappointing if they blow this opportunity, because they really have proven themselves as much as a team possibly can in 13 games. And if they come out rusty, like all those quarterfinal games last year where the team that was on bye came out and just, laid an egg for the first half of the first quarter or so, like that'll be really disappointing if that happens to Indiana. If good Indiana shows up, they win this game comfortably.
Any reading into extra of Ryan Day taking over the play calling for Ohio State for this game all of a sudden, or is that just that's us, biding time until the game actually happens?
It kind of makes sense, I guess, with Hartline moving on and, him taking on more responsibility and whatnot. But, also I didn't love the play calling in that Big Ten championship at all. So maybe if that had a little inkling to do with it, that's fine too. I don't like the head coach doing the play calls thing in general. Steve Sarkisian is fired as defensive coordinator when his offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, was a lot worse the last couple of years. But, for a single game like this, maybe it's fine. They felt overly conservative against Indiana, and they're not going to be able to get away with that for 3 games. So maybe Day taking it back is the right call there.
We'll see what happens with that one between Miami and Ohio State. Great to catch up with Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR, on Twitter at ESPN_Bill C, and go see his great college football content over at ESPN.com. Thanks for coming on, Bill. Happy holidays to you. Enjoy these upcoming games here, and we'll talk soon.
Same to you.
The Big Show is on at 442 KTGR and the KTGR app. And the whole G5 talk, I can't get over it. JMU did their job, by the way, as far as I'm concerned.
They covered the spread.
That's what I'm saying. It did their job, as far as I'm concerned.
It wasn't particularly, and I had a parlay of JMU and the Bears money line, which both of those were crazy.
The game with essentially the pick ceiling touchdowns were scored mere seconds away from each other, as I understand it.
It was kind of wild for sure, but I do think though, and I'm not like saying this big grand thought on include the group of 5 or don't, but it is a little bit disappointing when you can have it be that predictable and have our reaction be, hey, JMU did their job because they covered a 3 touchdown margin.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. I do think inclusiveness in terms of like letting a Cinderella have access to maybe shock the world is right, but it's also football, not basketball, and a lot harder to actually pull off. So I don't know. It was the weekend that we expected it would be, but to Bill C's point, that means hopefully a really compelling second weekend as we get into the next round of games.
So we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, onto the bus to, I think in particular, obviously to the Chiefs at the moment, if you're a Missouri Chiefs fan. But I think the politicians should get some blame for this too, for making people believe that it could really happen, that the Chiefs could stay, when in reality, that was never, ever the case. We'll get to that next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. So the breaking news is that the Chiefs have agreed to a deal to move their games to the state of Kansas. They will build a new $3 billion domed stadium in the Wyandotte County area in Kansas. They'll also have a new facility, new headquarters in Olathe. The entire project for both the stadium and the headquarters expected to be $4.4 billion. The Chiefs are set to start games in Kansas at the beginning of the 2031 season. The Star Bonds proposal will cover up to 70% of those construction costs in the state of Kansas. Meanwhile, Mizzou football has found its next offensive coordinator. Chip Lindsey will come over and take the OC job after having the same job at Michigan last season. He will take over immediately for Kirby Moore, who left last week to go to Washington State and take their head coaching job. Also, bragging rights tonight, Mizzou men's hoops takes on Illinois in St. Louis. The team just announced that Javon Porter will miss the game due to a leg injury. Tip-off at 7, pregame at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast with Steve's Pest Control, wishing you and your family a safe and happy holiday season.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies and more mild temperatures as we drop down into the mid-40s for tomorrow morning. We're looking at a warmer day, especially south of I-70 as we reach the lower 60s. Heading towards Christmas Eve, we see more clouds and near record high temperatures as we get into the lower 70s.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
One last chance.
Sacked by Missouri, Zion Young and Damon Willson.
To make our mark.
To the 5, to the house, 63-yard run by Jamal Roberts.
Live from Jacksonville, Florida, it's the Gator Bowl. Join us Saturday. The Tigers battle the Virginia Cavaliers. Our coverage begins at 4:30 on your home for Mizzou football.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken, and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. Award-winning auto collision repair. Don't wait, we're great. We work with all insurance companies. We work with all insurance companies. Yes, we work with your insurance company. New Bloomfield, Missouri. FPPBodyShop.com. 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 Fletcher, Performance and Paint.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Columbia. Coco writes, "Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a three-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside."
Mackadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Mackadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Mackadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Mackadoodles today. Mackadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Mackadoodles does.
A house full of family, all the kids and their cousins. Uncle Bob with a bellyache, snarfing shrimp by the dozens. When all of a sudden, the guests heard a bang. The garage door opened and surprised the whole gang. The water heater blown, now those showers were frigid, which left Uncle Bob quite rigid and livid. Then Brian Ware's sleigh pulled up in the drive, and his water restoration guy, Josh, did arrive. Disaster averted, and oh, what a sight. Once again, Brian Ware saved Christmas that night. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
A North Pole wind, then a loud crack. Oh no, it's Santa. He threw out his back.
Santa's getting older. Yeah, but with the way elf wages are these days, he can't afford fancy jibs. So the big guy went to Playing Again Sports. They've got used treadmills, free weights, dumbbells, and benches. All at prices that Santa actually approves. Plus, no waiting for machines. Unless Rudolph's hogging the squat rack again.
Bro, I'm bulking.
Playing Again Sports. Think of them first, so you don't finish last.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Look, Chiefs are doing this. The Hunts in particular are doing this for greed. So, like, for that, you can throw them under the bus. It's
Under
that.
the bus.
I thought from the moment that their proposal got turned down in Jackson County, they're like, okay, yeah, see ya. And maybe they wanted that the whole time by spending almost no time on that proposal to begin with. But I also think that, like, several politicians in the state of Missouri, mainly in the Kansas City area, deserve some blame for this too. For making people think that they could put together a proposal that was good enough to keep the Chiefs at Arrowhead, which is essentially what they were trying to do. And like the mayor, Quentin Lucas, going on Kansas City radio on Friday and calling all of the scuttlebutt about the meeting in Topeka that happened today and saying on Friday, oh, that's not news. Like, no,
oh my gosh.
Come on.
He looks like a big old doofus.
He really does today.
Nobody looks worse than him.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not just him. Like, it's Jackson County. It's the governor. It's so many other people saying, oh, yeah, we'll put together a proposal too. But I think everyone that was in the know on this, I'm sure the politicians would be enough in the know to realize that Clark Hunt wanted that dome. Like, he wanted to be indoors. He wanted to host the Super Bowl. He wanted a Final Four. Arrowhead was not going to be inhabited past 2030. It just wasn't. And so and the death knell to it was the April 2024 vote. So, like, the politicians leading the Missouri Chiefs fans on about, oh yeah, we'll keep the Chiefs. Don't worry, it'll all be fine. Well, those fans' fall was a lot harder because of how well they were led on by those people. So to them,
the bus.
I just think it was disingenuous, Brendan.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, under the bus, Carl Cheffers. Oh man, why do you have to word it like this? For Lions fans in the building when they're taking on the Steelers, great game. A thrilling ending, it would have seemed, if there wasn't a pass interference called on Amon-Ra St. Brown. By the way, good call, bad call? I thought it was a good call.
I thought it was a fine, like, the call was not noteworthy other than the win of it happening and the way the announcement comes down.
Yeah. He says that the ruling on the field is a touchdown. However,
he did say the however pretty quick. But you're right. Like, that was there was never going to be a way. Well, what would you have done if you're trying to communicate, don't be excited, Lions fans? How do you start that after the lengthy delay of they're kind of reviewing something and then we find out, no, the thing they were going to look at wasn't reviewable?
I say pass interference on the offense, number 14.
Yeah.
That's an offensive. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
We don't extend the game off of an offensive penalty for an untimed down. The game is over.
You're right. They didn't need to say the touchdown is good because that doesn't matter. You're about to negate it, and they're not going to decline the penalty. They're going to win the game. Yeah. So you're right. I was just curious for all right, what's the protocol? They normally do an order of operations with those. They'll tell you, like, if it was questionable on what the outcome of the play was, hey, here's what happened on the play for those wondering. Here's the impact, though, of the penalty. And unfortunately, he got burned by that order of operations, as did many Lions fans, as did I, when it came to having Lions in a bet. Like, I mean, this is our world now that we're living in.
No,
so.
I get it. I understand.
I want to see the Lions make the playoffs, too. That was my other thing, is wanting to see them be able to sneak in. Over the Packers, it was going to be a possibility. Now it seems pretty bleak.
Tough to see that now. Either way, Carl Cheffers.
The bus.
And under the bus to the group of 5 playoff takes. Okay, so JMU got blown out and Tulane got blown out. I suppose Oregon last year didn't deserve to be in either because they got blown out by Ohio State. Shouldn't let the 1 seed Oregon in because you know what? They were non-competitive in their game. Like, come on. Just after the fact type of stuff from people who I don't know.
I will say people were saying it before the fact. It's not just like they came up with this at the end. There were people all week telling you that it was going to happen, and then it did. But I also think we've learned some very difficult lessons from overreacting to one iteration of the college football playoff and saying, based on this year, let's change it. That's a dangerous precedent. We've kind of already leaned into it, but I'm going to say, that's not necessarily productive in the long haul.
Let something play out. 6 teams did not beat ones in the NCAA tournament immediately.
Until they did, right?
Until they did. So
Yep.
it can happen at some point. Just let teams get the chance, and then
Under the bus.
Then we can have takes as to whether they deserve to be in or not. Hey, pretty sweet. Seems that Mizzou got things done before the bowl game to get their new OC in the building. I don't think this means that Chip Lindsey is going to be calling plays in the Gator Bowl, but
No.
I mean, he's going to be, in the facility learning stuff and, getting things ready for next season right away. Not going to coach Michigan's bowl game. So you got him. You also got a new president of player personnel and recruiting. I think this is a new position. Jake Bresky, who was on staff with Drinkwitz, I think at either the GA or QC level, coming back and going to be in a new role to obviously keep Mizzou's recruiting efforts up.
Yeah, I think it's good to get that information across before your bowl game. It's not as much about the bowl game timing as it is the portal timing. And so recruiting coordinators are able to help right away for what that's going to look like. And certainly getting the play caller and knowing who that's going to be, I think will help them on the recruiting trail when they can sell to quarterbacks like, hey, here's what it's going to be.
So we'll see what Mizzou looks like in that bowl game. But first, we'll talk more about the Chiefs moving across the state line to Kansas. We know you've got thoughts on it. We'll get to more of your calls and texts here on the Big Show at 5:05. We'll talk about Chip Lindsey and what he could mean for the Mizzou offense next season, and bragging rights tonight. We already know about an injury, a new one. We'll get to that here on the Big Show, KTGR.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, all the creatures were stirring. A mouse ran down Mom's blouse. The termites sat waiting in their dark little lair, hoping Steve's pest control would never be there. The bedbugs were nestled all snug in the sheets, with visions of biting our feet in our sleep. Mama sat by the window, Dad got on the phone, and he called Steve's pest control to come save our home. Then out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, and the bugs in our house knew they soon would be splattered. Mom ran from the window to open the door, and Steve's pest control had brought presents galore. He sprang to his truck, to his team gave a shout, and away went the bedbugs, the termites and mouse. And I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, I'm your friend in the pest control business. Good night.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Hey y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. We've all heard about Santa's naughty and nice list.
And I know where you're at this year.
So at Billiards, we're doing a naughty burger and a nice burger.
Which is which?
Our nice burger is our famous Billiards burger. Top it with whatever you want. The naughty burger is our roomy with lots of spice.
Santa likes making it hot.
Look at on down for burgers and beer. Billiards, home Broadway.
You know, we named Vincent after Mrs. Claus.
Oh, Santa.
The Lee's Tire Company Holiday Survival Kit. Snacks packed, gifts wrapped, and tires that won't slide around like a plate full of holiday gravy. Better call Lee's Tire Company. Right now, buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and select brands. This is a massive holiday deal, so make sure you stop into Lee's Tire Company for their buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and select brands.
Ho, ho, ho. Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
I'm Nick DeLuca. DK Metcalf getting suspended. The NFL handing down a 2-game ban without pay following a physical altercation with a fan during yesterday's win over the Lions. 2 missed game checks will total around $550,000 for Metcalf. NFL policy saying players may not enter the stands or otherwise confront fans at any time on game day. Metcalf did report the same fan to security last season. He's set to appeal the decision. Steelers can clinch the AFC North with a win over the Browns on Sunday or a Ravens loss to the Packers. The Chiefs, meanwhile, moving to Kansas after a period of negotiation. State lawmakers approving a proposal for a new Chiefs stadium in the state of Kansas, leaving the team's longtime home in Missouri. In baseball, the Mets are trading infielder and outfielder Jeff McNeil to the A's. Mets will receive a minor leaguer in return. Two-time All-Star, hit .243 with 12 homers last season. In college football, Notre Dame and BYU agreeing to a home-and-home series beginning next year.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
From Studio 2 at the Worldwide. From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
We know you have more thoughts on the Chiefs moving to Kansas. We'll get to some of the texts we didn't get to earlier, get some of your comments on YouTube and on Facebook, and call or text us as well, 573-875-KTGR, or leave a voice message on the free KTGR app, new feature that we've debuted recently. You can go and leave us a message. If you don't want to just wait on hold, you can go straight to the KTGR app, record your message. It'll pop up in our studio right here. So get your Chiefs thoughts in, get your Mizzou thoughts in. New offensive coordinator in town, Chip Lindsey, coming over from Michigan. Tell us what you think about him, what he could mean for the Tigers offense going forward. And Braggin writes tonight, who you got, Mizzou or Illinois? We know that one player at least will not be involved in it for the Tigers. We'll get to that. We'll get to the Cardinals trading away Willson Contreras. Lots to get to here on The Big Show. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
All right, number 1 off the top, the Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas. Yeah, state lawmakers have approved the stadium proposal that's going to be on the other side of the state border, and the Chiefs are expected to inhabit the new domed stadium by the 2031 season, so still a handful more years for Arrowhead Stadium. But I think that's the big part about it is I understand the border war aspect for those who also care about college sports. Missouri-Kansas border is probably the worst kind of duo in the union to be doing this from, moving a team from one to the other. I also think a big part of this for Chiefs fans, though, is the sentimentality around Arrowhead Stadium itself and knowing that it will no longer be in use after the 2030 season. You can continue to sound off 573-875-KTGR, but kind of a sad day for Missouri-based Chiefs fans.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
We now know the name of the Mizzou offensive coordinator hire. It's Chip Lindsey, not Kelly. I know he was maybe a name that some people had heard of. Chip Lindsey was the OC at Michigan, maybe so much for taking the Michigan job, which I don't think was ever really in much danger. Instead, we're taking their offensive coordinator. He'll be wearing the Block M on our side now. And his numbers of his offense with Bryce Underwood this year, pretty solid. Took over an offense that was very run-heavy. And I kind of like the thoughts of Bill Connelly, where this is a coordinator who's going to be capable of morphing his style to what your personnel is. Now Mizzou just needs the personnel. Figure out who it's going to have at quarterback.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3, yes!
Braggin writes tonight, Mizzou was an 8.5-point underdog. It's now closer to 10, 11 points as the underdog. Javon Porter apparently missing the game. Eli Hoff reporting it's a lower leg injury that is not expected to impact him long term. Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce are also out for this game, despite Dennis Gates getting everybody's hopes up yesterday at the shoot-around. I don't know, same as it ever was on the injury stuff. We'll tell you who we've got for this game coming up at 5:25.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Yeah, life after Patrick Mahomes is rough for the Chiefs on the field. They got blown out by the Titans yesterday. Lost Gardner Minshew to a knee injury as well. He did not tear the ACL as initially feared, but he's not going to be able to play on Christmas. Chris Oladokin, anybody? Yeah, that game against Denver, the Chiefs are 12.5-point underdogs as of right now for Christmas night.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face, slap!
And Willson Contreras is a Boston Red Sox. Chaim Bloom gets yet another deal done with his old team that he used to be in charge of. This time he actually got a player back that was drafted while he was there. Hunter Dobbins added to the starter rotation.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
573-875-KTGR. If you want to call or text us, And just, throw in, Willson Contreras getting traded, a big time star last couple of years at least for.
That's number 5 on the top 5 today. It's a lot going on.
There's a lot
to get to.
Joe says, hate it.
He could be talking about any number of things.
Yeah. It's on a day like today. Yeah.
Probably the Chiefs thing. Don't like that.
No.
Maybe he's a big Willson Contreras fan.
Maybe he
like
had Oregon minus 21.5. I don't know.
Might have.
Maybe
he is just absolutely fed up with Dennis Gates and the injury report stuff,
I know.
I am. But why even bother saying that there's a chance for either of those? That's what shoot around over the weekend. Reporters, obviously, you got to do the media availability, and they can see Trent Pierce is getting some shots up, Jaden Stone activity. Why don't you just say, hey, we love that they're progressing, not going to be ready for this game, but it's just the constant stringing us along part that gets me. But if they win, all will be forgiven. So go play great with whoever is healthy enough to play, I guess.
We'll see. When it comes to that, we'll have more of our thoughts on who we think could step up for Mizzou, if in fact they are going to have a winning effort. But we'll see even if that's possible. You can hear it tonight with coverage starting at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Do want to get to some texts, though. Lots of people on the text are talking about the Chiefs. Adam says, okay, so I'm not near the Chiefs fan compared to Mizzou fan, but I will say this. I will never enter the state and spend a penny watching the Chiefs, period.
I think the Norm Stewart factor is going to be real for people.
Yeah.
I don't think it was real that he never spent a red cent in Kansas. I don't know if that actually, I know that was kind of the way that it was always talked about. But there will be Chiefs fans who say, you know what? It's maybe a combination of factors. It's Kansas, so that does mean an extra 30 minutes to get there. And also, it's Kansas, not just from a, geographic, what's my Apple Maps say. It's Kansas, and I don't want to support Kansas. I don't want to have anything to do with Kansas. So I'll watch it on TV. I really think you're going to get, and I'm curious as well. We've talked about it from the Kansas City folks. What about the St. Louis fans who did adopt the Chiefs because they're like, well, it's the state team. That's all we've got left. Well, that's not even going to be true anymore. It's a weird deal. It's a weird one.
That's tough. I mean, it's more of a proximity thing, don't you think, though?
I don't, Andy. I don't think it is. You keep talking about the 30 minutes.
Because they were in Missouri. I mean, it's
because Indianapolis technically would have been closer if you live in if you're in St. Louis. Indianapolis actually is a little bit of a closer drive than Kansas City.
No, I get it.
I think it was a combination of proximity and, hey, they're still a Missouri team. That's a Missouri team left. I live in Missouri. I'll support them. And I don't know that was the case for everybody. I think it also helped. I'll never accuse a St. Louis transplant fan of being bandwagoner, but it helps that shortly thereafter, Mahomes' rise is really kind of getting going. And, it's not like they were a hard team to watch during those years. They're a lot of fun. So that all kind of, I think, helped form and morph some fandoms on this side of the state. But, either way, I think a lot of people are having some mixed emotions today because you're like, I shouldn't really care about this, right? But then again, there's a lot of people who do, and I can't really fault them for doing so, Andy.
It'll be easier to say, oh, I'm going to relinquish my Chiefs. Is it easier to say that right now because the team is 6-9?
It's such a good question. Are we prisoner of the moment? If they were 12-3, like always.
Are you saying that you're no longer a Chiefs fan if they're 12-3 today instead of 6-9?
And by the way, do you mean it if you've been more than just a casual? You've really supported them. Like Scott called in and said, I'm throwing away my gear.
Yeah, he's been a fan for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden you're out?
Let's say, now, it would be very convenient if this is just kind of the end of the dynasty anyway, so it's all right, I'm going to get out while the getting's good.
Well.
But if the Chiefs come back next year, Mahomes gets a healthy knee to him, and they're winning 12 games and they're going to the playoffs again, will you feel like that disconnect, or will those feelings rush back in and it is more of just a matter of convenience to renounce your fandom today? Or are the wounds just fresh and people don't really know how to feel about it? Again, team's not leaving, but they're relocating to the other side of a state border where there's a lot of angst about which side of that border you fall on as a sports fan.
Josh said, sold my Chiefs gear today. I'm out. I mean,
hey, by the way, for those selling your Chiefs gear, if you do happen to have any youth sizes, I am in the market.
Oh, wow.
I mean, listen, I'm not.
You're going to start to hop in on the market all of a sudden?
I'm not a diehard Chiefs fan, but my kid, he likes the Chiefs, and we talk about the Chiefs playing, and he's getting to know the players. When we were watching Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday, for my fantasy team, I say, "Hey, we need Jahmyr Gibbs to score for my fantasy team," and he always goes, "No, Dad, my fantasy team, only mine." I'm like, I didn't even know you drafted a team this year, but that's what 3-year-olds are like when they get into their sports. But I'll take some old Mahomes jerseys if nobody wants them. I like to put my kid in sports stuff anyway, Chiefs or otherwise. So yeah, if you're selling your gear, like, I'm surprised, Andy. I'm not coming at this from a place of judgment, but I am surprised at the number of interactions we're getting that are saying exactly that.
They're saying they're out.
This does matter to me enough. It's not about proximity. It's not about 30 minutes further to get to the game. It's about the emotions behind it and everything that entails.
And I don't doubt that the Missouri-Kansas back and forth plays into that more so than in any other state bordering situation. This is why it's so unique. I'm just saying, like, you spent probably at least a little bit of your afternoon watching the Chiefs get blown out by the Titans yesterday on the road.
Watching Chargers Dallas.
But I'm saying, like, the Chiefs fans that were ready to see, maybe Gardner Minshew shows me something, and maybe he stays as a backup and could be the emergency plan if Patrick Mahomes isn't ready week 1. I want to see how he does. We should at least beat the Titans, right? And then, of course, he gets hurt because the Chiefs are down to third-string tackles on either side, and Chris Oladokun's out there, trying his best, but he had never thrown an NFL pass until that day. And, like, it's just when you had that situation and the rest of the team just kind of going through the motions, it seemed like nobody yesterday for the Chiefs played well. Not a single guy. And, like, you watch that effort from your team that supposedly was the super team of the last few years, and then they put that together in Tennessee, and then you're coming back the very next day, and you think, now they're going to move? Like, that's 2 gut punches in a row. And I can understand people in the moment saying, yeah, I'm done. When maybe later on they're like, okay, next year, because they're going to play in Arrowhead for 5 more years, and they're going to probably play well in Arrowhead the next 5 more years, and maybe you'll be back in. But these last 24 hours, 24 to 48 that the Chiefs have been through has been a lot for their fan base.
Especially if you're on the Missouri side, which is our audience.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I definitely do feel some empathy for an uncomfortable situation, because you might not even really know how you feel until it, like, starts to play out and become real. And you might think, I don't really care. But then you're going to see that stadium go up, and you're going to be like, I don't know. Do I have a lot of state pride? Do I have a lot of pride in it being a Missouri team? Or do I not care about that? Like, you'll probably find out as it unfolds, to be honest.
Sam's here on the KTGR hotline. Sam, what you got for us?
Gents, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing all right.
We're good.
Excellent. Hey, I think it's a bummer that the Chiefs are moving to Kansas. Anything that goes to Kansas is not good in my opinion. But it's the economic impact, the political impact. It's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out, especially in the state of Missouri. And I know that, like, there was a story they were talking about how businesses were always rely on extra income in that area when the Chiefs go to the playoffs. So, like, they're not going to have that this year. But then the team's leaving, that's going to knock the revenue down even more. It's going to be an interesting trickle-down effect. But speaking of teams who may be leaving the state they currently are in for another state, how about those Chicago Bears? Playoff-bound, cardiac kids. What an amazing – the game of the year in the NFL, and at least for the last 5 minutes of the game. So what a game against the Packers the other night.
That was pretty amazing. Appreciate the call, Sam, here on the Big Show. Nobody recovers onside kicks anymore, but the Bears did it.
The Bears did it, and Romeo Doubs, who had a great game, was the guy who muffed the onside kick. Mm-hmm. And DJ Moore, who threw half the game, and, like, credit to him, because he's gone through a lot of kind of ups and downs, and you start to look at Roma Dunze being drafted, Luther Burden being drafted, and it doesn't even feel like even still Moore might be a long-term fixture there for the Bears. But him, like, just dog-tired, trying to do hurry-up offense and be a key piece. There was a play where he couldn't even get set at the line because he was just so tired of trying to get to his spot as they were running through the latter portion of that regulation. And then to make that catch and almost get like knocked out in overtime, that was truly, really special for Bears fans. And maybe that's what I'll do.
Left it all out there.
Forget the Chiefs. I'll go with the Bears and Luther Burden. Like maybe that's who wins me over officially. I wish Luther could have been a part of that game. He was obviously out with an injury, but man, that was a lot of fun.
Samuel on our texter said, "I'm in the NFL fandom transfer portal." I mean,
I don't think these folks are alone. I think we've heard from already enough people in just our 2-hour show today, Andy, that this is real for people, and for the reasons that I think we've identified when it comes to all the emotions tied into not only the Missouri-Kansas thing, but I think a decent amount of it as well with the Arrowhead of it all. People are going to miss that building, and there's a lot of sentiment around it.
And look, I think there will be still very loud noises in whatever they call the new building over in Kansas. I'm sure it'll be a hard place to play still, but it will never be the same. Exactly the same as it was at Arrowhead, the same aspect, the same, the sight lines. I mean, again, fans going to the games, if you are in the upper deck at Arrowhead, you actually don't have that bad of a view of the game. You're pretty close to the field, relatively speaking, to other upper decks in the NFL. This is just going to be another one of those situations where you got to pay more to get in, and you probably don't get as good of a view. And that's before we even get to the PSL side of things. Like, if you're getting season tickets, you now have to pay more for it because of the personal seat license business.
Correct me, was there no PSLs at this stadium just because it's older stadium and they didn't ever introduce that?
I think
is
that's
that something
right.
they only do when the stadium is built? I don't know the answer. I assume that's the case. Like in St. Louis, they had PSLs. Like when the Rams moved to town in the mid 90s, they had them.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it maybe started, but either way, for paying for that building, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
And I know for sure that once the Dallas Stadium went up, like that was a big deal. You got to pay for the license to the seat before you actually pay for the tickets.
Yep. No, and again, like I said, like my dad was a Rams season ticket holder in the 90s, and that there was a PSL cost associated with that all the way back then. Arrowhead's just an older building, and so they haven't had to do this where you're paying for a stadium that's new, and that's just part of the way that they do it with new stadiums. So that's kind of something that's going to be an aspect here. You talk about the atmosphere. I don't know. I like tickets are already expensive. They're so expensive to where like living on the other side of the state, as much as I would like to go to a Chiefs game, it's an undertaking. Then I'm like, well, now it's also going to be hundreds of dollars just to go to one game. It's,
but people
Mizzou
that
tickets,
but people that are willing to pay it are still going to, the reason why they're paying it is because they really want to be there. And I'm sure they're going to create the same type of crowd noise that they would at Arrowhead.
That part I don't know if I agree with, because I think the people will do it, but they might have the ability as a family to go to 2 games a year. Maybe now it's 1. Like whatever it is, I think the price increase could absolutely impact the amount of games that those types of fans feel they are able to afford financially. And that's not a good thing, I don't think, for the decibel level of the new building. I'm sure it'll be great. Chiefs fans are a great fan base, but I will be curious on the impact of what that actually ends up being.
875 KTGR, weigh in on how you want to weigh in on this whole Chiefs stadium business now that they're moving to Kansas. James saying if it's $50 to $60 to park at Arrowhead, what would be in Kansas? $120 to $150? Like, I don't know. I mean,
they'll set the price at whatever they want to, and you'll pay it. Like that's what they're banking on.
And there will still be tailgating, right? That won't change. Like that will still be a huge part of this. They will make sure, I bet, that there's ample parking spaces and parking lots for all of that to make sure that tradition is not lost, even though they'll build a business district around it, everything like that. But
it'll be a cool setup, but it'll be a cool setup in Kansas.
Yeah, no, that's what you got to get over. That's the
I
hurdle.
don't know if you can. I'm not going to tell people they have to, because I don't know if it's possible to get over something like that.
Well, this was interesting. 9 minutes ago, Eli Drinkwitz tweeting #MIZ, the state of Missouri, between fire emojis, our home, between tiger emojis, #new way, #the Mizzou way.
That's awesome, because
9 minutes ago,
because he knows too.
Yeah,
he's trying to get people on board with football in this state. And guess who the last man standing is? Sorry, Battlehawks. It's us. It's Mizzou football. So I don't know. Could this bring money for Missouri if Missouri-based businesses were financially corporate sponsorship helping the Chiefs out? Is there any that will say, hey, we're gonna kind of shift our affiliation based on this? I don't know, but Eli Drinkwitz seems to be at least kind of referencing the news of the day in that capacity.
It's not nothing, that's for sure. He's trying to, it's either to the fans or to potential clients or to both.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Like, one thing's for sure, Mizzou can capitalize on it if you are just going, if you're in mid-Missouri and you regularly go to Chiefs games and this news is making you closer to the fence or maybe on the other side of the fence on whether you're going to do that going forward after 2030, then all of a sudden does Mizzou's setup with their new stadium renovation that's going to be ready next year, does that become a little more enticing? I don't know.
Like if you had season tickets to the Chiefs and you felt so strongly about this move that you're not planning on doing it, but you live an hour and a half outside of Columbia or whatever it is, and you're willing to, you say, yeah, my family is doing Mizzou. That's what we're doing now. I won't complain about that as a Mizzou fan. I'm not saying I don't hurt for you Chiefs fans, but I got to look out for number one. And so if this actually does have an ancillary benefit to Mizzou football, I will not be complaining about that.
We shall see. I do know that there's a new offensive coordinator at Mizzou, though.
There is one of those. Chip Lindsey. Sorry.
How many times
isn't it funny that they hired a guy named Chip?
Do that?
Isn't it funny? 2. I think that's only 2. I've done it twice. Okay. That's probably enough. Right. They hired a guy named Chip, though. Not Chip Kelly.
An OC. It's been an OC for quite a while.
What do we think about this? Is this fine?
It fits the bill from what Eli Drinkwitz wanted, right? Someone who's like done this before.
Experienced, for sure.
Experienced at the Power 4 level. People point to the quarterbacks that he's been with immediately, and they Drake May. Oh, yeah, Jared Stidham. Oh, yeah, Nick Mullins. Those are NFL guys. Like, I don't want to even scoff at people trying to put Nick Mullins and Jared Stidham in the feathers of the cap of Chip Lindsey. Like, that's fine. They were NFL quarterbacks. They weren't mainstays, but Brady Cook is starting games, and that is a feather of a cap that you use for Mizzou's sending people to the NFL. So, like, you can still, like,
at least as context,
right?
I mean, as context of what this coordinator has. I'm not sure if we're like talking about it in the way that we're over the moon, like this guy developed Nick Mullins, but
right.
We want that context because we want to know what's his experience been with passers and what can he get out of whatever personnel Missouri is going to have in that regard. Because, and whether that passer is currently on the roster or not, we know that that's ultimately where this is going to be won or lost. The decision, the hire, the court of public opinion, it's all going to come down to what's the quarterback play going to be. And I guess my thought with that is, like, Bryce Underwood, I feel like had a really solid season for a true freshman, very hyped, probably one of the most hyped true freshmen of all time. He's making like $5 million if those reports are to be believed.
Right.
But like also, it's not like Michigan had an unbelievable passing game. And so is that a concern at all where you're like, oh, I really wanted a guy to come in who we were going to be able to see real easily without having to take a second look of like what the passing system was going to bring, and it was going to be great. And do we have that, I guess, is my question.
And like, he spent 1 year at Michigan.
Right.
Like, I'm seeing
a text around a bit.
Yeah, I'm seeing a text from Jason. Michigan's offense has sucked for years against Big Ten schools. Awful.
Right.
That 1 year that Chip Lindsey has been there, so that's all we can really judge based on what Michigan has looked like as an offense.
And it was really bad last year, and improved points per game from last year to this year.
This year, yeah,
for the year that he was
with
there.
a true freshman quarterback. And again, he should work out very well. Is he in the portal yet? Like,
Underwood? I don't think so, and I don't know why he would be. I would be shocked if he transferred.
Yeah, so like we'll see, but
with the money he's making from Michigan, I don't think he went because of Sharon Moore. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
I think he went because of probably Dave Portnoy. But
I mean, I don't know.
That was his whole thing of like, I'm gonna get Michigan a quarterback, and he got hooked up with some billionaires that were able to make it happen who are donating to Michigan. Jerome Moore was a placeholder coach anyway before all the outside craziness took place. So I think Underwood will stay there, but we're looking at what Chip Lindsey did with that quarterback and saying, okay, like that's a step in the right direction, because your offense at Michigan was kind of like the Bo Prabula Missouri Tigers the year before that, and then you're able to level up a little bit.
I do think that the quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's Matt Zowers or a transfer that they bring in to plug in and be the starter, that will be more indicative of how this offense improves, who you're putting in that spot. I don't think we have any reason to believe Chip Lindsey will be a detriment, though, because, look, when you talk about how he, again, has worked with quarterbacks like that in the past, and a criticism might be, well, he hasn't kept a job for a long time. Well, first of all, that's just the nature of the business these days.
Absolutely.
Especially like assistants move from time almost every single year. And with every jump that he made, he got a better job until he became a head coach at Troy, where he got 3 seasons, but ended up getting fired after the 3rd one. But then as got back to being an OC, went to UCF, then got a jump up to North Carolina, then got another jump up to Michigan. And so like it with every
now he's
job,
jumped up to Missouri.
and now
obviously.
he's jumped up. Well, there you go. So like
the real Block M.
Exactly. So with every job, I think he's gotten a better situation, which means that he was desirable in a lot of those job markets every single offseason. And I think he was this time around too, especially since his head coach is gone. So now I think Mizzou got someone that, again, has the experience to look at Mizzou's offense, tailor it around what everybody does well. I think he's salivating at the aspect of getting to run plays for Ahmad Hardy. Like that's going to be awesome. I think that no worries about how that's going to look. I think however the passing game looks is going to depend on who the quarterback is. If he develops Matt Zowers into a ready-made starter for 2026, great. If it's somebody else that comes in and plugs and plays, I think that's also fine too. Like, there's a lot of unknowns on this, but I don't think Chip Lindsey's resume or the ways that his offenses have looked in the past should deter you from Mizzou being able to put it back together on offense next year.
Yeah, and I think like I look at his experience as largely just positive. Would it have been nice to have like a Casey Woods or a guy that comes in and you go, oh, I can clearly see his team that he was with this last year ranked number 3 in FBS in passing yards per game. And here's what the efficiency metrics say about their pass game. And he's going to bring us we're going to air raid this thing. And it's going to be, that would have been fun, because we know that, you can kind of, that's the peanut butter, the run game that Eli Drinkwitz is going to have with his scheme is going to be the jelly, and it's just going to go together, and it's going to be great. You have best of both worlds. I think what Eli Drinkwitz went out and got is leaned on that experience that you mentioned and said, this guy's done it before. He's been around the block, and he can cater his offense to what we have. Now we just have to compel a quarterback that sees, and like you're using the Drake May thing. You're going to say, hey, that guy that should be the NFL MVP this year if they weren't catering to the old man Stafford, he coached this guy up, and he can coach you up too, and you can be the next Drake May. If I'm Eli Drinkwitz, I'm getting Drake May on the phone. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this guy? Let's try to talk about this a little bit, because that is a factor as you try to figure out. And I do think they have to take a swing. It's nothing against Matt Zollers, but you at least have to try to see if you're able to get a big fish that's a little more proven at the high major level to this point. But yeah, that's all part of the process of getting the quarterback in the room. And maybe they already have him, Andy, but maybe this OC hire will enable them to get a crack at one of the big transfer options too.
Call or text us with your thoughts on Chip Lindsey being the new offensive coordinator at Mizzou. 573-875-KTGR. All right, up next, we'll get our thoughts in on bragging rights. That's tonight. Mizzou's final non-conference game, and really their final chance to have a win to be excited about in non-con play before the conference slate starts next weekend. Not this upcoming weekend, but the next one. We'll get to all of that next on The Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Working with Eric from Advanced Tree Solutions is an excellent experience. I can attest from personal experience. He'll come out to your yard. He'll inspect your trees, tell you exactly what you need done to them. Not going to try and upcharge you on things either. He'll make sure that he takes care of your wallet at the same time. Take care of any kind of safety issues that your trees may have if they're hanging over power lines or you have a dead one that needs removed, or if you just need tree pruning done so that your trees can grow stronger in the springtime. Go call up his team or go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com and you can see everything that they offer when it comes to your trees. They serve Columbia, Jefferson City, and Fulton, and they're licensed and insured. And I'm telling you, you'll be glad that you worked with them when you look up at your trees when they're finished with their work and you can see that they're taken care of. Go check out advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. If you need tree pruning done this winter, go book now because spots are filling fast. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions.
Leland, I think Mom's been hitting the candy canes again. Yep, she said if you come into Bet's Jewelers and say you heard this out on the radio, you get $100 off. $100, no minimum, no catch, any jewelry in stock. So earrings under $100? Free. Should I tell Dad or should you? Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas from Bet's Jewelers. Beautiful moments begin at Bet's. Begin at Bet's.
So, Mr. Fancy Dancy Sports Car Dude, you say you were distracted by a raccoon feasting in the road? Okay. How about the fact that you were going way too fast when there's like 5 inches of snow on the ground? Nice ditch you got there, bro. Now you need a savior, a do-over. Find your phone and just Google I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for slide-offs. When your winter world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I70towing.com. A raccoon. Just ridiculous.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KTGR. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KTGR in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Losing a loved one is probably the hardest punch you will ever take in the fight of life. Dealing with the fallout, finances, and how to replace that loss of income for your family is even harder. That's why Phyllis Nichols and her team are so passionate about life insurance. Phyllis Nichols is the 12-round agent who fights for your best interests and knows exactly what you need. Get your life insurance with State Farm Agency licensed Phyllis Nichols, the 12-round agent.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Chiefs Stadium thoughts, Mizzou offensive coordinator thoughts. We want them all here on The Big Show. KTGR and the KTGR app. Call or text us. You can also leave a voice message on the KTGR app and let your voice be heard. Also, leave a comment on our YouTube channel or on Facebook as we're live there. Okay, so tonight, through all of that, Mizzou plays a basketball game that a lot of Mizzou fans look forward to every single year. But how much are Mizzou fans looking forward to this iteration based on what's happened so far? Just largely been winning a bunch of games against teams that will not be competitive come February or March, and losing the games that actually could get you excited about the future, but didn't because you lost them.
Yeah, there's some trepidation, I think, going into this one, especially when you look at things like the point spread and the expectations that most people have about the game. Is like Illinois is having a really good season. They did just lose to Nebraska. They're a little bit undermanned in terms of having some injuries of their own to deal with, but like they've proven it against good teams already this year. They have had a gauntlet of a schedule. it's not just been non-con because Big Ten plays some earlier conference games than the SEC does. Yeah. But they've played good teams in the non-con, and they've played some good teams in conference play already, Andy. That tells you Illinois is probably going to be a little more battle-tested. Not a little more, a lot more battle-tested coming into a game like this one. And that's a concern for me, for sure.
Like wins against Texas Tech, Tennessee. They got the first conference win against Ohio State on the road. Lost close to UConn, lost close to Alabama, lost close to Nebraska. So, I mean, I am scared of how many points this Illinois team could put up.
They put it up, man. They're number 4 in Ken Palm's adjusted offensive efficiency.
Yeah, man.
In the country.
They shoot well, mainly from inside the arc. They still shoot it at a decent rate from 3, but great at getting to the foul line, great at creating extra chances, offensive rebounds. They don't turn the ball over, and they're just incredibly efficient, as you mentioned. So it's just you're going to have to score with them. I mean, Mizzou's offense is good, but is it that good? And can they overcome like the mismatch, I think, that Illinois has when they have the basketball? That's my worry.
Yeah, and Illinois, good rebounding team. They don't really play super fast. They're kind of a mid-level in terms of tempo and pace, which to me, seriously, when I look at that kind of stuff on Ken Palm, I usually think the faster the better. Even if Missouri's pace isn't labeled that way, I know that's what they want to do. They want to be able to speed up. And I'm just not sure. You asked the question, can you score with them? Because they're going to put up their points. I'll be shocked if their first digit for the Illini score tonight doesn't at least start with an 8. Maybe more than that. They consistently score into the 80s, one of the most efficient offensive teams in the country. Outside of the 2 guys that we know can score from Mizzou, Mark Mitchell and Jacob Cruz, I'm not sure that the Tigers have the firepower to be able to score with this team. Actually, I'm kind of sure that they don't.
So you have to like muddy it up, essentially. You have to play out of your minds defensively to try and slow down what Illinois has got. And look, they're a little banged up. Maybe that happens. I don't know. I think it's unlikely, especially with Mizzou having a bit of depleted depth on the length side, like Javon Porter apparently out. Mizzou announcing that about an hour ago, saying that he's out with a leg injury. I don't know on severity.
Of course he is.
But yeah, it's
just a leg injury. That's just regular stuff. Keeps happening. I just don't really understand it. But guys get hurt in sports. I know that, but it's next level for Mizzou basketball. It seems at times.
And look, we don't know if it's due to anything or whatever it might be. It's just tough when you have to deplete that depth in a game like this, and you learn, and then you've still got, a redshirt freshman that's trying to figure it out at 7'5" and
play him.
Are you going to put him in? I would think that probably you should, at least a little bit, to bring some of that defensive presence at the very least. When you know that you've got a big that is out, it might mean more minutes for Nicholas Randall. Who knows? Like it's not like Javon Port, like he had kind of been taken out of the starting lineup last couple of games. Sure. Jacob Cruz got inserted in. I think that was the right move. Like you need somebody else to step up off the bench when they're called upon. And it's so unknown as to how that's going to go, because Mizzou hasn't played anybody that will give you any sort of sense of what their identity is at this point in time, because they haven't been tested.
Right.
This will be their last test before they go and play the important conference games in a week and a half, starting with Florida at home next Saturday. And I'd love to know more about Mizzou's propensity to attack that conference schedule. But this is our last chance to find out about it. We only have only 2 other games of data to let us know what it could have been.
And by the way, Notre Dame lost to Indiana Fort Wayne last night. So Notre Dame, not a good loss.
Yeah.
We'll continue to reiterate that point.
Yeah. How did Minnesota do, by the way? How's their season going?
They had a nice win over Indiana at one point. I haven't checked in the last couple weeks.
Hey, 99 in KenPom. There's no triple digits next to that. How about that?
They're the 3rd opponent that is a double-digit opponent for Missouri in KenPom so far.
Man.
It's just been 3 out of all their games that they've played.
Yeah,
I think SEMO at 220 is the next best team.
Because I mean they'll be competitive in their conference, but Mizzou should have put them away a lot sooner than they ended up doing.
Oh, you're talking about Minnesota?
No, I'm talking about SEMO.
Yeah, because Minnesota probably won't be super competitive in its conference.
No, not talking about that. But either way, this is still a chance for Mizzou, and if they win it, like, hey, we'll change our tune.
Oh,
like,
if they win it, it's a completely different conversation in a month when we have another big show. Like, it's
well, so
kidding.
Here's the thing about that. This will be our only show of the week. We will take a holiday break. We won't be on the rest of the week.
So they won't be able to react with us to the Braggin Rights game?
Not so fast, my friend. We will give you a chance to join us tonight on YouTube and on Facebook as we react live to the end of the game for Mizzou and Illinois. Around 10 p.m. is what we're shooting for. So it'll be after they've probably closed up that contest and we know the results. But around 10 p.m., we hope you join us on YouTube tonight. We'll have a knee-jerk reactions, if you will, to
late night reactions.
Illinois. Exactly. So I hope you join us on YouTube and on Facebook for that. And if you miss it, don't worry. We'll have it on our podcast page as well, so you can go back and listen to our reaction. Because we won't have a show tomorrow or the rest of the week, we do want you to give you a chance to get your thoughts in. And by the way, anytime you can go to the KTGR app and leave a voice message for us. So like that's available, and it'll pop up on our feed. So be sure to join us tonight around 10 p.m. or so on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. You can subscribe there so you don't miss it, or you can see us on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show. If you want to react to us after Mizzou closes up their game against Illinois in St. Louis. So who you got, Brendan?
I have Illinois by margin, 87-71. I have no reason to pick Missouri in this game other than I love Missouri.
They got to show you something they haven't shown yet.
They have to show me. And like the Kansas game is the closest comp to the talent of Illinois. I think Kansas is 16 in KenPom.
Yeah.
Illinois is 12.
Mm-hmm.
So very comparable in terms of the way they're ranked. And that was a 20-point loss. So show me. Yep. I'm going to say they lose by about 15, 16 points.
I'll say 92-78 Illinois.
Okay. Higher scoring, but same concept.
Yeah. I think it'll be a lot of points.
Feel bad.
Yeah.
I rarely over the big shows last couple of years have picked against Mizzou in like either sport.
Right.
I've been pretty like, let's go all in. I'm being realistic at this point. I'm not sure that this season's going to be a productive one for hoops. Tonight, that could change. My whole view could change with just one singular win. But it's a problem with your scheduling, regardless of tonight's outcome, that on December 22nd, we're saying, yeah, we've really only seen him play one game like this. And then the other one was at Notre Dame. That was a loss. You don't get to pick which ACC representative you play.
Right.
I think the conferences tell you that for the SEC ACC Challenge. So you've really scheduled one game, and it's a rivalry game, and then here's another one. Got to get more creative scheduling down the road. Is it possible Dennis Gates knew that this team wasn't going to be very good, and so he was trying to hide it? I don't know. That's not the way he talks about it. He talks about they should be proud to be 9-2. That's big for the program. It's not. It's not. I disagree with Coach on that. But tonight's an opportunity to do something that would be big for the program.
So you can hear it tonight. Coverage starts at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Tip off at 7 from St. Louis, Mizzou, and Illinois in the Braggin Rights game. Give us your predictions at 573-875-KTGR. And you can join us on YouTube tonight as we have knee-jerk reactions after the game at around 10 o'clock or so is what we'll shoot for. We'll get our thoughts in next about the Cardinals sending Willson Contreras to Boston. Another big-time trade between the Cardinals and Red Sox this offseason. Who would have thunk it? That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. The Chiefs announced today that they are leaving Arrowhead Stadium after 2030 and will build a new $3 billion domed stadium in the state of Kansas in the Wyandotte County area. They will also build a new facility in Olathe. Total cost of both projects combined around $4.4 billion. The Star Bonds proposal approved by Kansas lawmakers will cover for up to 70% of those costs. Chiefs will expect to start play in Kansas for the start of the 2031 season. Meanwhile, Mizzou found its new offensive coordinator over the weekend, announced the hire of Chip Lindsey to join the Tigers. He comes over from Michigan after spending one season as the OC there. He's also spent time at Southern Miss, was the head coach at Troy for 3 seasons, replaces Kirby Moore, who took the head coaching job at Washington State last week. And Mizzou in the bragging rights game tonight against Illinois in St. Louis. Tip-off at 7. Javon Porter will not play due to a leg injury. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on KTGR. ABC 17 Storm Track forecast with Steve's Pest Control. Merry Christmas from the entire team at Steve's Pest Control.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies and more mild temperatures as we drop down into the mid-40s for tomorrow morning. We're looking at a warmer day, especially south of I-70 as we reach the lower 60s. Heading towards Christmas Eve, we see more clouds and near record high temperatures as we get into the lower 70s.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lopez, President and CEO of the Food Bank for Central and Northeast Missouri. The 19th annual 1-for-1 Holiday Food and Fun Drive raised over $137,000 and collected thousands of pounds of food that will bring joy, hope, and peace of mind this holiday season and beyond. Altogether, your support at 1-for-1 means more than 411,000 meals for tables right here in mid-Missouri. Thank you for making this holiday season a little brighter for your neighbors.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. It is getting to be holiday time, and that means slick roads a lot of the time. So make sure that your tires are in tip-top shape. If you need new ones, now's a great time to get some at Lee's Tire Company, because right now they're running a special where you can buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands. That's right. Buy 2 tires and get 2 free. That'll save you a ton of money if you need new tires or you just want to switch them out for the winter time. You can do that too with Lee's Tire Company. They have an excellent service team at all 3 of their locations that can get your car serviced for these winter months. And of course, they are the tire pros in mid-Missouri. I've gotten my new tires from Lee's Tire Company. You should do so too, especially now. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands at Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia or University Garage by the MU campus or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
Large or small, we wash it all. Magic Car and Pet Wash.
Have a safe and wonderful holiday season and a Happy New Year. Your friend at Magic Car and Pet Wash.
Hi, I'm Levi. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Magic Car and Pet Wash in Kingdom City and Ashland. Large or small, we wash it all.
Large or small, we wash it all. Magic Car and Pet Wash.
Well, the holidays are going to be here before you know it, and so will the family visits, the gatherings, and all the stress that comes with them. If your to-do list around the house still hasn't been touched, call Bax Homeworks. Their handyman service can take care of those little fixes, updates, and projects you've been putting off. Don't worry, you're not the only one. But that way, you can focus on what really matters. Relieve the stress now. Visit BaxHomeworks.com or find them on Facebook. Bax Homeworks. Getting your to-do list done.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken, and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
Kubota owners, after a busy season of mowing, hauling, and working hard, it's time to give your Kubota a little attention of its own. Schedule your Kubota service today, and in Boone County, enjoy free pickup and delivery with their 30-point service plan with Farm Power Lawn and Leisure. Keep your equipment ready to roll when spring comes. Call 573-442-1139 or visit fplal.com before March 1st. Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, your Kubota all year long.
After splurging on matching family PJs, roughly 150 presents, and one very expensive 15-foot inflatable Santa, you're probably running a little low on Christmas coin. So let Family Pawn help for the holidays. You'll save on gaming consoles, instruments, tools, jewelry, and electronics. Don't see what you're after? Head to one of the many Family Pawn locations where you're bound to find what you need without breaking your holiday budget.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, lots of things to sound off on today here on The Big Show. Chiefs moving to Kansas. Mizzou's new offensive coordinator. Braggin rights tonight. Get some thoughts on Willson Contreras now suiting up for the Red Sox. Let's get to Steve here on the KTGR hotline real quick. Steve, what you got, my friend?
Hey, how you doing? I didn't get to call in earlier about the Chiefs. I really think Clark Hunt had his mind made up. I don't think Missouri had a chance. And one thing I would say was I think a lot of people around Kansas City on the Missouri side will follow Norm Stewart's advice. When they'd go to KU to play, he wouldn't let the buses stop in Kansas till they got back across the line. He said he wasn't spinning a nickel in Kansas.
Maybe. Appreciate the call, Steve, here on the Big Show, KTGR. And
that's what I want to know is that legitimate? Is that something that, like, let's look at it from this perspective, Andy. I don't believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you and I plan to not talk about the Chiefs because they'll be playing in Kansas.
We'll still talk Chiefs, yeah.
I still think this is Chiefs country here in mid-Missouri. It's just a little different than it was. That's my view of it as a sort of a third party, not as emotionally invested as some others are. And again, I don't say emotionally invested as a bad thing. That's just the perspective folks bring. I would not fault anybody if they feel that way and say, yeah, I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to support. I'm not going to cheer for them. We'll see. The proof will be in the pudding, I suppose, as time goes along. It's 5 years from now. It'll be a long way to go before the stadium actually opens up. But I mean, it's coming. It's not just a rumor anymore. It's not just something you can kind of hand wave away. Like, it's happening.
I do wonder what it does to Arrowhead ticket prices next 5 years or so. Do people clamor to get one more game in? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's not going to be people, saying, "Oh, to heck with them. I'm not gonna support them." But no, it's going to be the opposite. People are going to say, "I want to get one more at Arrowhead."
Exactly. Yep. I think that's it's going to be the reverse effect. The Hunts will not be hurt by this move financially. It will help.
No, they will not be.
Did this move help out the Cardinals, you think, trading away Willson Contreras?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
They
probably
didn't get
not
better.
Tomorrow, but maybe by the time April rolls around.
Yeah, no, not even then. By today, I mean this coming season. No, it didn't help them this year.
Yeah.
It hurt them. They're going to lose more games. But that's kind of by design, right? That's still the way that they have been approaching this rebuild the entire way through. So it's unfortunate because I do think it makes them a little bit worse for next year and a little less fun to talk about and a little more into like true rebuilding territory. But I also think effective for what they're trying to accomplish. And so I can't really say I am surprised by it. Once they traded Sonny Gray, it was like, and by the way, people might say, well, why would you trade with the Red Sox twice? Why not just do one big trade? I really feel like the Sonny Gray trade happening rather than just being something that was discussed as a concept maybe nudged Willson Contreras more toward a willingness to waive the no trade clause. And so you have that and you say, man, it's another guy that's making a pretty healthy salary for the next couple of years. They're able to get out from under a good portion of it, like 33 million or so that the Cardinals are saving. I think they're only kicking in $8 million in cash, and they were going to owe him upwards of $40 million over the next couple of years plus a buyout. So with that in mind, I think the Cardinals are saving money, and hopefully they'll be willing to reinvest it when the time comes. But for a team that's not going to win this year, they get some prospects and save some money, and they open up first base for Alec Burleson, which I think is his more natural position anyway.
Well, certainly for him to play every day.
Well, I mean, he was going to play every day regardless, but
right.
It's really more about who he's not blocking anymore by clogging up a corner.
That's what I mean. Spot. Yeah. And so like he's part of your long-term future, you would hope, as long as he keeps hitting that way.
Yeah.
And last year was a very good year for him. I'm not saying that that a drop-off's coming. It's just you want to make sure that consistency is still there. And then, look, get a bunch of arms, throw them into a mixer and see what comes out.
That's what they're doing.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for that, because you needed to have, if you can trust your development plan now by putting the right people in place to get those arms ready for the big leagues, then it makes sense to have a bunch of competition for 2 or 3 spots and see who takes the best out of it in February and March and actually seizes those jobs. So that approach, I think, can help them out. Maybe even this year. Maybe we see a better rotation and the Cardinals at least stay afloat with that. Now, offensively, lots of things to figure out, but because Brendan Donovan's probably on the move too, but we'll see.
That could be tonight yet. I think he is as good as gone.
Really? Right now?
Well, I'm not predicting it's going to happen right now, but I think it's something that they are working to get done before Christmas if they can, because that's kind of a hiatus typically,
right?
In terms of, executives around the league might take a little bit of a respite by the time you get to Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. There's no rule about it. It's just generally speaking, you see that flurry of activity right before a holiday. We kind of saw it right before Thanksgiving as well. And then you expect a little bit of a down period. So we'll see if it goes that way or not. But I'm looking at it, Andy, as they traded away Sonny and Willson. Yeah, it's both to the team that Heim used to run. Hunter Dobbins is really the only guy that was actually acquired by the Red Sox when Heim Bloom was running the show. They drafted him, I want to say it was 21 while he was there. But other than that, everybody they've acquired via 2 trades and a signing of Dustin May, Heim Bloom had nothing to do with those guys getting to Boston. So it's kind of a weird caveat to it. But they've gotten some arms like a Dobbins who is recovering from an ACL. So I don't know if he's going to be 100% ready to go opening day. But either way, he's in that number 4, number 5 starter category. So is Richard Fitz. And they signed Dustin May, who hopefully you have a little bit more upside to him. But it's guys that you can plug and play right now, and you don't have to rush your prospects. And you can maybe get yourself out of having to have Andre Palante pitch, or Palante improves and it's just everybody pushing one another to be the best version of themselves. And you get better as a team because of that. I like the strategy so far, Andy. I really do.
Quickly, Gator Bowl prediction.
Oh, give me Mizzou 23, Virginia 17.
24-10. Mizzou wins. Thanks for joining us. We will see you in the new year. Off this week.
And tonight at 10 o'clock on
and
YouTube.
Tonight at 10. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now's a great time
Sports.
to do it. KTGR Sports. We'll see you.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I